Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Marco, Mumble. Can't say that one. Vijay Kumar. I can say that one. I just had to read it for a bit. Afternoon, Mimo. How are we doing? Right, so we've had non-farm payroll. Unemployment rates come out. Unemployment rate for the CAD was quite bad. Went up to 7.1 on a forecast of 7, so not going as well in Canada. Unemployment rate for the US came out on forecast. So the market has reacted to that in expecting a rate cut, definitely now. We were expecting 0.25%, but potentially a 0.5% rate cut now because it's as forecast. So I'm not quite sure if we'll get a 0.5% rate cut. We might do, you never know. But yeah, so negative US on the news. Not a massive reaction. This is the 5-minute chart for the US CAD. That's probably not the best thing to look at, is it? There's the US. So we've had 125 ADR across the board on quite a few of these. Pound US dollar up to 125. So it is a move against the dollar, but not massive. So we're continuing with the vein that the dollar is going to weaken over the next few weeks, months, potentially. So this is just in line with what we were kind of expecting, really. There's some news on oil, potentially some speed up of production, which will obviously create higher supply, which will drop oil prices. So that came out today as well. So you can see with oil, we've had a drop on oil. Again, it's something that may continue, may not, but obviously we weren't expecting it. So we had that big spike down today on oil. We've got this level on sort of oil around about $60 a barrel, where it becomes much less effective for oil producers to produce oil. They don't make that much money when you get down below this sort of $50 to $60 a barrel. This area here, very hard. That's going back to COVID, obviously, but you see, it's very hard for them to sustain oil price below $50 to $60 a barrel. This is kind of where we are at the moment. So even though that is increased supply, which is a drop in price, I can't see it going too much further, really. So it'll probably just hover around this level. Obviously, we're waiting for some conflict to start at some point, which will drive the price back up again. That's always what happens, and there. But other than that, not a lot of other news this morning. So we have got further news coming out. We've got the IV PMIs coming out for CAD at 3 o'clock, but that's it for the US news now. The non-farm employment change was very bearish, which is obviously it's 22 on a forecast of 75. So they're forecasting roughly the same as previous. We dropped by 50,000. So it's all negative US. Typically, that will be bullish indices. So we'll see where we go at the open. This morning's DAX trade didn't go anywhere. I posted this in Discord, but we did get a break short on the DAX. It went down, pulled back up again, flip-flopped around for a bit. So I decided to basically take a break even because it was looking like it was going to stay in rotation ahead of non-farm payroll. There's non-farm payroll, and it's now dropping. So if you didn't get out like I did on that short, you're basically back to where we got to this morning. So you may well get a profitable trade out of that on the DAX if you held on to it. But yeah, I broke even on it this morning. So with the other indices, as you can see, non-farm payroll gave us a whipsaw. Not massive movement. So I think it's fine to trade the indices. The market hasn't driven 1.5 ADR in any direction. So we should still get some volume coming through this afternoon, hopefully. Broken short on the NASDAQ there already. Gold's range a little bit too tight. So yeah, we'll see where we go. It's Friday afternoon. It's always quiet on Friday afternoons. So we'll see where we go with it today. But I'm just going to let them play out as normal, I think, because we haven't had that big movement come in. We have had a whipsaw, obviously, and we've had a decent move, obviously, bearish on gold, obviously. Bearish on the dollar, which is bullish gold. But yeah, everything else, I think, will probably get some fairly normal price action. So we'll see where we go. FX wise, there are ADRs all over the place. So Aussie dollar CAD being the biggest at the moment. That Australian dollar very strong at the moment off the back of all the latest news, and obviously massive weakness in the Canadian dollar. Everything going up against the CAD, obviously, because the Canadian news was massively bearish. Their unemployment rate basically 7.1 on a forecast of 7. So everything going totally the wrong way for the Canadians from an employment perspective. I guess they've got a load of people that are employed in IT. AI taking over the world. So yeah, loads of movement on there. So Aussie dollar CAD is the biggest mover of the day. We're over 225 ADR and we are still going. So, whenever you get this type of movement, chances of exceeding this level is 2%. We very, very rarely get there, 2% of the year. So it's very rare that we get this type of movement. Maybe 10 times a year we'll go beyond this level. So this is a parabolic shift. We've got a very strong currency against something that's had some very, very bad news at the same time, which gives us that big movement. Doesn't mean we're not going to mean revert it. We will mean revert some of that. So there is an opportunity for shorts on it, but you want to wait for some really good signs of weakness. So just don't take every bear candle that you see. Wait for a good, strong bear move to form, ideally a reversal alert. That's only a quarter of an ADR. So, if you get that sort of movement, you're looking at about half an ADR roughly, pulling back into propulsion there. So you can take just normal candlestick patterns on it, bearish engulfing, any kind of exhaustion patterns that you see at the highs, but that's very, very, very extended at the moment. You've also got New Zealand dollar CAD. They are virtually the same pair. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD move together. So very much the same thing there. So obviously that one's only gone to 200 ADR, but again, very, very extended. So look for pushes back into propulsion and then for continuations in those moves. So good opportunities there. Aussie US is also extended. So US and CAD both having bad news today. So it's bearish across the board, basically, for the US and the CAD. So if you're going to trade anything like the New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and the New Zealand dollar CAD, they're very much the same thing, same movement. So don't get overexposed on them. Just make sure you're keeping things uncorrelated that you're trading. So I've got loads of RSI. I'm testing a 5-minute RSI dash at the moment, just comparing it with my website. So I've got alerts going off all over the place at the minute. There's loads of loads of ADR extensions. We've got loads of weekly extensions, obviously, now, but this is the end of the week. Oil has hit its weekly levels, but unlikely we're going to pull back on that before the end of the day. May do, but obviously that is way beyond your normal weekly movement on oil. So good mean reversion opportunity, looking back up into that propulsion gap. You have just had a nice little W pattern form there. Not very clean. In fact, it's not very clean at all, actually. That's that news that we had. It reverted the entire news, basically, the next 5-minute candle. So kind of looking for that sort of movement, but it's not very clean at all, is it? It's very whippy and wicky. Probably best just to steer clear. Friday afternoon, not worth it. Pound CAD 175 ADR. So we'll be taking a break on gold of the 10-minute range. Nasdaq pulling back inside, Dow inside bar. So Dow is basically stuck at the moment. Just keep your eyes peeled on financial juice this afternoon. Now we've got these numbers out. You can see we got Hassett talking at the moment, but we may get some Fed talking heads coming out talking about what this unemployment rate means for interest rates moving forward. So the market has decided that it's definitely bearish. We're definitely getting a drop in the dollar. They're banking on a 0.5% cut potentially now rather than a 0.25% cut. So we may have some reaction come back from the Fed this afternoon on that, which means that you could easily see the Fed say, don't be stupid, we're not doing 0.5%. And you'll be back down here literally in no time at all. So just watch for signs of weakness on everything that's pumping against the dollar, because there could be opportunities for shorts. Little news trade I took there. I took a little range break off the back of that news. This is one of the strategies that I'm going to be looking at in the member streams for when I start those new member streams up, is trading news breaks. So waiting for the movement, waiting for the range to form after the movement, and then taking the continuations. So I took a little scalp on that pound US dollar up into the highs, which was nice. But yeah, we'll wait and see where we go today. It's going to be one of those sessions where it's either going to go or it's not. Could well be a whippy one. NASDAQ pushing back right up inside the 5-minute range there. Potentially going to continue this this movement in the dollar. So if we get continued weakness in the dollar, we're going to see that NASDAQ go. We'll also see gold take off. There go long gold. So if we can break those highs, we're out into all-time highs, aren't we, really? Where are we? Gold. I think we are all-time highs on gold, aren't we? Yeah. So gold, we're out into all-time highs territory now. So basically, you can't pick an upside target on this. We have hit ADR already today, but obviously we got a news event on negative dollar. So could go easily 150, maybe even more. So we are breaking out again, all-time highs. So 2 days ago was your all-time high. That's a new all-time high gone in today. So potentially continuation rally on gold. Indices. We've got last month's high coming up at ADR for the NASDAQ to the upside. So you've got a good third of an ADR movement to the upside on the NASDAQ. S&P, we're out already. I'm not trading the S&P at the moment. If you are trading the S&P, you've got a nice little break long there, look. Not quite, actually. There's your 5-minute. So actually, you would have triggered short, stopped out, and flipping long on that one. Now, we are tapping straight into that high, look. Really, really strong resistance there, look, on the Dow. Monthly, weekly, today. Can't get through that level. If we do break that level, we'll be off today. So watch this. This Dow, if this pulls back, there's a good chance that's going to go today. If if gold goes, I think we'll find the Dow will go as well. But so far, we've tapped straight into resistance. We're sitting inside bar. Market waiting to see whether or not we've got enough buyers today to make a rally. NASDAQ rejecting back down again. Okay, so downside on the NASDAQ. We're going to be watching the Globex session before the news. Potentially for a bounce there. Other than that, that is basically Globex low. So yeah, down into this previous resistance. These 3 levels here that I drew on yesterday were my targets, if you remember. Yeah, so these were the upside. Sorry, this was from Wednesday, wasn't it? So from Wednesday, these were the upside targets that I drew in there. So we basically hit that one yesterday. Obviously, we hit the first target on Wednesday that I said. Came up, hit it again, and we hit the second target. And then we blew straight through yesterday up into those highs there. Now we've exceeded that level. Nothing to stop it. So if we're going to come back down again, we'll be looking at the difficult actually now, isn't it? Definitely looking at that area. But I don't think we'll get all the way down there today. It's Friday. So upsides, this area here. So downside resistance, obviously, you're looking at that area here, which we tapped into, accumulated around. The news has broken that. So retest and a pump of that, or dumping back down into here if we're going down. But at the moment, doesn't look like it wants to go anywhere, does it? I'm a bit more bullish today than bearish. There we go. Gold, we're off. Dow coming back down. What a mess today is, look. All over the place, aren't we? Real diversification everywhere today. Afternoon, Pleiades. Rajat, how are we doing? Johan Aussie dollar CAD takes off. Yeah. So basically, Aussie dollar CAD, we've got a strong Australian dollar at the moment, which we know. It's had some very, very good news, the Aussie, over the last couple of weeks. So we've had this, that was your first propulsion move off of the back of the interest rates. Then we've retested that and we've held that level, making new highs. Yeah, another new high gone in, broken out the monthly range, pulled back inside into propulsion. Yeah, so market structure, break of the high, pull back into support, off we go. So that obviously is just literally, we've got strength in the Aussie at the moment, and the Canadian dollar has just been destroyed today. Those were not good figures for the Aussies, for the Canadians. So you're coming up into potential resistance in that propulsion gap. Yeah, so this was basically a piece of news. It's not a very good propulsion gap, that at all, actually, because it didn't actually break a low. So, but we are holding. So this is the level that we're holding at the moment. Yeah, so the sellers are interested from here. We're coming straight up into it now at exhaustion. So don't forget, we're 225% of ADR. We're absolutely exhausted. Market is not going to be able to go long for much further because there's not going to be any sellers left. So you can't buy from people that aren't there to sell. Therefore, it's just going to get exhaustion and come and collapse back down. They'll take profit on this leg, probably back down into previous resistance, which is your monthly highs, double monthly. I don't know what the other previous monthly is. So previous month's high, last month's high. Yeah, this area here is basically upside resistance, which we've broken today with that news. So that is where you'd be looking for longs. So mean reversion, easily an ADR on that when it actually decides to go back down again. So you'd be looking either you're going to hold propulsion, or we're going to come and retest this area here, which is the previous day's high. So that's yesterday's high, previous day's high. That's the bottom of that propulsion gap. So if these buyers are going to stay here, i.e. sellers of the Canadian dollar, that's where you're looking for continuations. So we're inside bar on the Dow, no movement. And Nasdaq's back inside range. Gold today is the main breadwinner. We've just broken down into new lows on the DAX. So if you are short the DAX from this morning, I can't remember where the TP was on this. It would have been somewhere around 7. So somewhere around 1200. So I would suggest that was probably TP this morning. So if you are still short DAX, that's probably where you'd be getting out with your partial if you're taking 3R. So that'd be 3R on the stop, which would have been somewhere around there. That is your upside resistance, turn support. So that's likely where we get a bounce if we get there. We've got to get there yet. The way the other indices are going today, stopped out on the Nasdaq. It's a bit difficult to tell, but obviously the DAX will get dragged along with the other indices. So if they are going to rally and go for all-time highs, the DAX is going to find it very hard to drop because sector purchases will keep it propped up. But this doesn't look like it really wants to go anywhere at the minute. So 6-bar range, actually I'm going to go long anyway off the 1-bar range, but yeah, the 30-minute range is going to be coming in shortly in 10 minutes time. So there will be a break, long or short of that, if we're not already long, which it looks like we're going to. Looks like it wants to go, doesn't it? Trying. Gold's gone. So that dollar is definitely still weak. Oh, some big news just came in. Just had a big order come in there. Everything moved at once then. You see that? Draw that target in. So that's roughly where your target would be downside DAX. Could you close your Aussie New Zealand? I could, but I'd make a loss because I'm at 8% in drawdown. I'm not out of it yet. I'm still in it. It's my last trade on that account. I was kind of hoping to be out today, but Aussie New Zealand's not dropping enough. So we're putting in an expanding wedge pattern on the NASDAQ, which is indecision. Market really unable to pick a direction today. Gold starting to put a little pullback at the highs. Let's see what pound US dollar's up to. Or euro US dollar, rather. That'll give us an indication of what the Dixie's doing. So pushing. So dollar still dropping. We're at monthly highs now on euro US. So that dollar's still dropping. We've got news coming out, IV PMIs in 6 minutes, which might make a move on the dollar, but dollar index now just trying to make new lows on the day or new highs on the day. This is basically the inverse of the dollar index. So whatever this is doing, the dollar index is doing the exact opposite. So testing low of the day on the dollar. I would expect there to be more movement on these indices to the upside, to be honest, but they're not. We're stuck. I'm not going to push this today. So the 6-bar range is going to go in on the next 5-minute candle. So your 6-bar range is going to be exactly the same as your 1-bar range. So this 5-minute opening range here, your 10-minute, 15, 20, your 25, and potentially your 30-minute opening range is all within that one candle, indicating that they've shot all the volume today at the open. So we may not get much movement today. DAX, new low on the session. So that's going to be the 30-minute range at the moment on the NASDAQ. I'll be watching that range for a break when this candle closes. Obviously, if it pushes down a little bit, it's going to be a bit bigger, but at the minute, that's what we're looking at. So taking breaks of those when they happen. If you're in the DAX, probably want to start looking at getting out. There's TP hit. It's really annoying. So the stop on the DAX this morning was 368. So TP was 1100. That is 1143. So that is your take profit on the DAX. If you held it, which I didn't. Welcome back, Brian. MT5 it is, yeah. I've made the leap. Yet to be confirmed whether or not I'm going to enjoy the leap, but at some point you've got to make the change. So I've been monitoring MT5 for the last year, and I reckon it's pretty stable now. So yeah, I'm MT5 for the minute. I've still got I've got to recode the support resistance propulsion indicator because the SRP indicator on MT5 is shocking. The way that the indicator works is basically it looks back to calculate the propulsion gaps. So everything in the SRP indicator works absolutely fine on MT5 apart from the propulsion gaps. So when you change on MT4, it's instant because MT4's graphical user interface does all the calculations and paints the chart most of the time. In MT5, the way it interprets the code is it draws them in one at a time. So I've got to recode it, completely change the logic in MT5 as to the way that works, which I will have to do. So that's on my to-do list, was on my to-do list today, but I had other things. Finally, MT5 getting some love. Well, yeah, I wouldn't call it love. More of a trial marriage. See how we get on. But yeah, we'll see. All the EAs work exactly the same, you know. So if you're charting platforms are for analysis, yeah, and for watching. If you're auto trading like I am, 90% of my trading is all automatic. It doesn't matter whether you're on MT4 or MT5. Coding is coding. It is interpreted the same way. So the MT5 version of the ORB works exactly the same as the MT4 version of the ORB. Same with Position Trader. Same with all the other EAs. So this is EAs running. I'm literally looking at candlesticks, and this paints candlesticks very much the same as MT4. The main difference is the graphical user interface in MT5 and MT4. This is older, more stable, and faster than this, because this is a more graphic intense platform. That's literally all it is. So there are some indicators that just are trickier in MT5. It's not really MT5's fault. It's just you have to code things in a completely different way, which is a pain in the backside, which is why I've kind of decided to jump onto this platform and try and start developing more solidly for this rather than MT4, just because it's one code base I've got to worry about. I'm in the honeymoon phase at the moment, yeah. So we've had a kiss, we've been out for dinner, you know, things are progressing, but I'm not sure she's mine yet. She looks better, but beauty skin deep, isn't it? We'll see. It's silly little things like the way it draws and stuff, and it just works slightly differently. That's all. It's just, but it's like everything, isn't it? I hated Windows 11 when I got it. I look at Windows 10 now and go, how did I even live with it? Because Windows 11's amazing. It's just a change. You've got to change. You know, when you see something, when something is different, you always have a reticence about it. The one thing I don't like about the way that MT5 works is the data handling. MT4's data handling with Tick Data Suite is just so much better. So I may still do my back testing on MT4. Don't know. DAX, we broke. We hit the support and we bounced off it with a nice hammer. We were having another crack at getting through that. So if that breaks on the DAX, if you are still short, first target should have been taken. Second target could be either there or there. So somewhere in that area, I would look for a bounce. Certainly broken through. So we should be going short NASDAQ. Yeah. Short NASDAQ. Dow still inside bars on 5 minute. Dow absolutely stuck solid. See, that's just an annoying thing. If you select a drawing tool, yeah, on MT4, if you right click, it deselects the drawing tool. On MT5, it doesn't deselect the drawing tool. So I have to. If you accidentally click a line and go, oh, I don't want that, even hitting escape look does not undo that drawing tool. I have to draw it, and then I have to delete it. Silly little things like this, you just think, that's such an obvious user interface thing. Just escape to cancel it, or right click to cancel it, same as MT4. Look, if I go into MT4, select a line, there's the line tool, and I go, I don't want that line. I right click, it's gone. Now I don't have to draw the line and delete it. It's just making me do extra work. But you know, it's things like this you just have to get used to, don't you? There's probably a button somewhere Wish I'd have held my DAX this morning. Really regretting that. So that was my break-even exit ahead of non-farm. That was non-farm. Now we're off. So DAX falling out of bed. Let's just see if there's any news that's caused that. No news. Just weakness. So IV PMIs. I haven't got the result through on that yet. 50.1. So poor old Canada. More negative Canada. We'll look at the CAD Swiss now approaching 200 ADR. Aussie CAD. Quarter of an ADR is 11.5. There we go. So we're now at 250% of ADR. It's almost as if you should just hit the sell button right now and wait. 250 ADR. Huge. Absolutely destroyed that Canadian dollar. 200 ADR. Just about to trigger on CAD Swiss. Where are we there? Oh, look at that. Hit it. Didn't trigger it. Literally to the pip. But yeah, more CAD weakness. CAD yen 150. Pound CAD 175. New Zealand CAD 225. Same as Aussie CAD. US CAD stuck sideways because we've had negative news on the US, negative news on the CAD. Equals a range. Really wishing kept that. Okay, short on NASDAQ. Still no trade on the Dow. Gold. Should be looking to TP on that shortly. 69.10. Need a square tool, don't I? TP hit. Oh, so yeah, don't need to do it now. TP hit on gold. So TP1 hit. Trailing second half. I'm going to give the Dow another 5 or 10 minutes and just see where we go. Sorry, the NASDAQ. If we're just mucking about in here, I'm probably just going to shut it. I don't want to sit and I don't want to sit here and babysit this all afternoon because other things I could be doing. I'm not convinced we're going to get a big move today. We will see. Anybody got any FX pairs they want to have a look at all? Let me know. New Zealand CAD now also 225 ADR. Out the highs there. Very nice tight reversal alerts on these. We're basically getting tiny indecision candles. Just pauses. Another one going in now. So one of these is going to break. And we're just going to pop back down. As soon as the market sees that, they're going to assume that is profit take selling and jump on the bandwagon. We should get a nice quick move back down. How far it will go, though, don't know. Some weakness coming in on Euro CAD as well. Okay, so we're out. New session lows on the NASDAQ. We're coming into this area of potential support. So this is the propulsion gap there that caused that break on the news. So if we are going to continue this long, that's where I'd expect to see them buy it up. If we plow straight through that, good chance we're going south, which would be good. So, I mean, it's worth taking this up 1.27 with 1% banked, 2% on the day. If you're trading prop, this is what you want to do. You want to take the money, take it, just get it in the bank. That's basically, I mean, yes, they did target anyway, but that's quarter of a way to passing evaluation. Do you also shift the affiliate? Will you also shift the affiliate page, the new licensing system area? Affiliate page, the new licensing system area. No. The affiliate system on my website is built into WooCommerce, which is the cart system that I use. So I mean, it works on WooCommerce. So I can't move this out. It's part of the WooCommerce system. So this is all part of WooCommerce and the cart system. Okay, so first signs of strength coming in on the dollar. Should see a pullback, maybe potentially start on gold. Short the Dow. Okay, so there's your retest. So we'll see this is a key candlestick here on the NASDAQ. This next 5 minutes, if we break through this level in the next 5 minutes and hold it, there's a good chance we'll drop today, especially if the Dow comes down. Let's quickly see what the S&P is doing as well. Now, yeah, S&P selling off really hard as well. So 5-minute ORB on the S&P today. That's the open there. Really dodgy S&P today. So S&P would have triggered you short, stopped you out. Depending on spread, probably got triggered long, stopped out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You're long on the 30-minute ORB there. So you got 2 stop outs on S&P and you are short on the 30-minute TPO. DAX trying to break short again. Good day. Good day. Be nice to end the week on a positive. Gold. Okay. So first jigsaw, then live streaming, now Ed MT5 and gold. I know. It's all changed, Brian. Gold, basically, as you can see, is moves at the open, basically. So what I was looking to do was diversify the portfolio. So I've got a new members area website with a correlation matrix. So if you look at the correlation on the indices, yeah, you can see, if I include gold, let's put the metals in there as well. So you can see basically, obviously, the DAX. Let me just take the Japanese out. That. So Where's my pen gone? Vanished. Okay. So basically, you can see the correlation between the indices. The Dow obviously correlated 100% with itself, but 92% correlated and 84% correlated with the S&P and the Nasdaq. Yeah, and then the S&P, obviously, that's the correlations are the same on all of them. The DAX still moves roughly in the same direction, but only 68% correlated. Gold and silver both move at the opening bell because they're futures, they're commodities. So the futures market is basically what we're trading. All futures move at the opening bell, 9:30 US. These move at the opening bell, but the correlation compared to stock indices is nothing. They are not correlated at all. So it's basically just adding another instrument into the opening range breakout. So something else we know that is going to have a volatile open that we can trade on CFDs that basically is not the same as these two. So I've dropped the S&P because the correlation between the S&P and the Nasdaq is massively high. The Dow is less correlated. So I've picked the Dow, the Nasdaq, and gold because obviously that gives me diversification. If these two both tank, this can do what the hell it likes because it's got nothing to do with those two, basically. They are inversely correlated, but not to the extent that really kind of worries me. So if you look at it on a daily basis, yeah, so this is the daily correlation for all the instruments. Yeah, so you got gold there, negative 39, so negative 23, negative 25. So at best, we're going to go inverse 40% of the time. These two is less than 25% of the time. So it's absolutely fine to trade them together. So just trying to diversify it a little bit. It's really good. I love trading the S&P. When the Dow collapses, the Nasdaq collapses, the S&P collapses, DAX collapses all at the same time, it's beautiful. Yeah, you make a fortune. When the market is flat and quiet and dead, they all go flat, quiet and dead. And those days you get killed 4 times. Now, not so much 4 times because this correlation and these two is not the same. But this and this will definitely go death on the same day. The S&P also. So I've removed one of those correlated instruments to diversify the risk into something that is not an index. So in theory, just making it a little bit safer to trade the open. But it will affect profitability. So, you know, the days where we go like 5R collapse on all instruments at the same time, and we put in those 15, 20, 25% days that I've had, I had a 19% day last week, the week before, 2 weeks ago, because I caught a single break. Basically, the market just broke at the open, went straight to target and straight to ADR. Literally, all indices did the same thing. You can't help but absolutely milk it. But also, if these all do the same thing and they all lose 3 times a day, that gives all of that plus back, doesn't it? So it's just about mitigating risk. Getting a little bit more sensible in my old age, basically. I don't know why. Age is just a number. I just feel like that number at the moment. TP is potentially approaching. There's 2R hit, 3R. I'm drawing too many squares. No, it's the MT5. I'm not good at it yet. You see? That's 3R. So we're running straight into potentially close from yesterday as the downside target. DAX very clearly broken down through support. So, I mean, this is obviously potentially a sticking point. That bounce out of that support failed. This is the bounce attempting out of this support. If this fails, that's your next support resistance. Then you're looking at that low. So exactly where we are now is support resistance. Then looking at that level there. That's where we're going next. And then down there on the DAX. Manually take a partial on this, to be honest. I'm going to see where we get, but might just take half of this off. When we touch it, how long we got? 1 minute. Don't think that's going to TP because it's not far enough yet. I don't want to give the money back if it is not going to take a partial. Just wait for that candle to close, just see if it takes a partial. This is basically, this is not the account that's trading this with the EA. It's on my VPS, so I can't actually see the TP lines. I will sort that out. Might get a partial here. Okay, so that's yesterday's close. Yeah, there's partial. So partial's taken already. So TP bounced straight off yesterday's close. So that's now locked in. Additional profit. TP1 taken. TP taken also on the Dow and locked in. So guaranteed win today. Up 5%. Everything's locked in. So that's the result today. It's either going to be 5.2 or 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. So trading stop locked in on all three. Job done. There we go. You're not allowed to go on holiday anymore. Too much shock to the system. I need a pint. I didn't actually go on holiday. I just had time off to work on stuff, basically, other stuff, not trading myself, just support mechanisms, building the licensing system out. Took me ages. I mean, I can't show you that. Yes, I can. Show you too many trade secrets. But building this licensing system out looks very simple, but it's a lot of work building the new licensing system in, the automated part of it, all this to do all of this and all that, built all that out from scratch. This membership area, although it was sort of half built, I took it over and I've been building all this correlation matrix and everything out. So this is basically stuff. I've been doing stuff that I've wanted to do for ages and haven't had the time to do because I stream all the time. Streaming's great, love it, but it sucks all your time. So I've just managed to get on with stuff and get stuff done. Basically, my goodness, look at that Canadian dollar. Bye-bye. So yeah, there's the CAD dying and there's the US dollar dying. Or dollar CAD. Interesting to see what the retail sentiment says now. Yeah, so CAD Swiss strong sell. 93% of the market are now long CAD Swiss. Catch that falling knife. That's going to continue for the rest of the day. Everybody's pressing the buy button. It just shows you, doesn't it? Like, this is retail, yeah? Retail are all pressing the buy button at the moment on the CAD Swiss. Yeah. If you look at this, right, show me one break of structure here that says I should be buying now. There's just nothing that says buy here, is there? We basically we gapped down, collapsed, sat there. We had one bull candle that made a lower low and a lower high, which is bearish. Then we had a higher high and a higher low, which was a bearish engulfing, which is bearish. Then we had an inside bar with a lower high and a lower low, which is bearish, 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 bearish. Then we made a higher high and a higher low, but over 50% of that wick was sellers, bearish. Inside bar, indecision, bearish engulfing. Selling, lower high, lower low, bearish, bearish. Inside bar, indecision, could be either way, followed by bear, bear, bear. Show me one buy signal. Not one candle that said buy that today. Retail. Long. Who is teaching these people? I don't know. Beggars belief. DAX straight through support. Look at this thing. Absolutely collapsing. I wouldn't even want to call that as a bottom either at the moment. Free fall. Okay, trailing stop is just going to drag me down with whatever it gets me today. So we'll go where we go. That's the weakest possible support I could draw. Look, that propulsion gap. There's a propulsion gap here off of a double top. Not really strong, is it? Obviously another level I've drawn. Yeah, it's this here. So we are, I mean, it's not particularly strong. It's quite an old support resistance, but it is fairly reactive. Watch that. Might get a reaction. Right, I'm going to stop out on gold. So partial 3/4 closed out on gold, and then the other 25% is going to be a break even. NASDAQ, I'm going to close the NASDAQ just because it rounds me up to a nice 6% for vanity. And I'll let the rest of it run. So gold is, I mean, if that doesn't stop out, it'll be a miracle, but I think that's probably going to stop out. So I'm just going to leave the Dow running as a trailer today. I'm not going to, look at that DAX. I'm not going to risk this pulling back. I might as well just take the cash basically on that today. But let that one run, see where we go. So watch for downside support. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like support is making the blindest bit of difference to any of this. So there's your Globex high from yesterday before the open. Obviously, there's your open. So potentially Globex high as resistance. But this thing looks like it wants to collapse today. So if I was you, I'd just go with it. Let it run. Nice days. Happy days. Aussie New Zealand is pushing to the downside. Cool. It's CAD Swiss. Yeah, so my break even on this is ADR today. So if I can get an ADR out of this today, I'll probably shut it. It's my last trade on. I've got aggressive drawdown control out of resistance. So this area that I showed on Wednesday is where I've taken my aggressive drawdown control position. And I'll be looking basically. This is one of those trades which is always very difficult because I've got a lot of lot size on this now. If this gets down to break even, the equivalent of a move from here to here is 8% profit, which is a fair old chunk of cash, obviously. So I always have this quandary when you get back to break even. It's like, that's great. I could get out now. I haven't lost a penny. I've been stuck in this trade since July. 3rd of July, 4th of July. Where are we? August, September. So I've been stuck in this trade for 2 months. I can get out here at break even, 0 loss. Completely wrong for 2 months, getting out with no loss. Or I can hold it down to that propulsion gap and make approximately 15 to 20%. One of those trades where you just think the Aussie is strong. That is a gift, because I was short at the exact time that we basically shifted fundamental direction. So that's an exit, which I'll probably take. However, it's also one of those trades where I will see how it reacts at the break-even point, because when we get to that break-even point, this would be, I think that's probably about an 8%. That's 5%. So I'm in 5% of drawdown there. So this is 5% of drawdown. If it gets to there, I'm at break even. It's one of those trades where you can pull all your stop losses down on the aggressive drawdown control positions and go, do you know what? I'm happy taking a 5% loss on that. I've had a decent month and it gets my account flat. But that is 5%, 10%, 15% profit, 20, 25% profit. So if this thing suddenly collapses down with a 4-hour candle like that, in that direction, suddenly I'm in 3% profit. I can break even the entire position and just sit there and hold it. Worst case scenario, I lose nothing. Best case scenario, I make 25%. That pays my mortgage for 3 months. Yeah, so it's one of those trades. It is so unbelievably extended, and we're at a absolutely beautiful resistance, which is highly likely to cause a pushback into propulsion. I don't necessarily think it's going to hold, because the Aussie is going to be stronger than the New Zealand now with what's happening with the interest rates and everything. But it could well just sit and do that for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah, does it very regularly. Look. Yeah, these two are very close trade partners with very similar trading patterns. One is just bigger than the other, so they often sit in rotation for months on end. So if this is going to sit in rotation from these highs to this propulsion for the next few months, there's a hell of a lot of profit to be made there, isn't there? But equally, this could just bounce off of yesterday's low and retest that area. And, if it gets too much further into that area, I'll be out. It's the end of an account, so I'm just trying to milk it. But if you want to be safe, get out. Get out when you get the break even. That's going to give a reversal alert on the hourly if this continues. We've got 30 minutes left on this candle. So that gives us a reversal alert and breaks below that low. Very good chance of a drop, isn't there? I'm not quite sure why that is dropping quite so much. Google is set to be hit with an EU antitrust fine over ad tech practices later on Friday. Goodbye stock market. Okay, so stopped out. Just going to shut these. Shut this pending short on gold. Don't want to be short. Just going to shut any pending orders off, just in case we get some crazy whipsaw. We're at support on the NASDAQ. Admittedly, it's dubious support, but best you can find at the minute. NASDAQ just pushed into demand and reacted. If Brian's going long, it means it's going to bounce. So you heard it here first. Brian's long. Look at the Dow, Brian. Lower low. NASDAQ, the DAX is also having a little stall out. So indecision stepped in. Potentially 3-bar reversal forming. I've lost my counter as well. I keep looking down that corner for my counter. 2 minutes left on this candle. So potentially 3-bar reversal, in which case then you'd be at least pushing back up into there. Flag break. If this breaks though, it's free fall basically. There. Basically, if this goes, we should just cascade straight through this lot into there. But I mean, got a long way to go. It's going to be very difficult to get all the way down there. For them to get down there, you got to find a load of people that want to buy it. Anybody that's looking at buying this now, there's not been one 5-minute buy candle at all. It's just been selling solidly. There's not one signal to go long. We've had a wick, which could be it. Inside bar forming. Not. There's nothing to say to buy this apart from a level, obviously, which is potentially a decent level. But 1 minute, you will probably find there's a W pattern forming there. Not even that. Look. Really get a W out of that. There's your reversal alert on the 1 minute. I wouldn't touch it until it gets above there. I want confirmation. At the moment, that last batch of sellers is acting as an iceberg. Nice failed 3-bar reversal there. You lowered a date. That reversal alert on the hourly. See where we go. 2 micros at the moment. We'll add in if we get confirmation. Yeah. They're trying. Definitely trying. So we got some very nice wicks forming down here. Definitely interest in buying down here. But if it's profit taking, you probably find it's going to be like quite hard work. Longing it, but not liking that Google news, I don't think. Anywho, I'm done. So short Dow still and guaranteed 50 locked in on that. So roughly 0.5% locked in, 4.4. So I'll end on 6.8 on the day. Should be nice. Nice end to a Friday. Actually in my other account, which is much bigger. So this account, basically, I set up a 10 grand account just to trade in the live rooms, just so that I'm trading with a realistic amount of money, basically. So few people said, show realistic figures, which is, for me, it doesn't matter what the number is. If this is what we're interested in, percentage return. If your percentage return is 6%, 6% of whatever your account balance is. If it's 100, it's 6. If it's 10 grand, it's 600. If it's 100 grand, it's 6 grand. Basically, it doesn't matter, does it? We're looking for percentage return on account. So, but I set up a 10 grand account to trade just to show what you get with a 6 grand account, basically. So a 10 grand account. So this is a small live room account. I'm going to do the same for position trading as well. So my position trading account, I'm going to set up a smaller account to trade in here, which will basically just be a smaller amount of money, more realistic amount of money that people can start to trade with. But I want to make it realistic as well at the end of the day. There's no point in starting off with a grand in position trading. It's just not enough money. You need more. So, and we're going to have a scalping account for news trading. All sorts of wonderful things planned. So nice little rejection going in there. Got 2 minutes. Finding it hard though, aren't they? Look. So we may be potentially looking at the first bull candle of the day. Got a minute to go yet. So going to close on new lows. Look. The only reason I these sorts of trades, when you're taking a trade, trying to catch a falling knife like this, if you time it right, brilliant. The problem with this type of trade trying to go long is, where do you put a stop loss? You want to put a stop loss underneath wherever the next level is. That's too far away. There's nothing there that I can pick to give me a stop position. So when you get in with something like that, you literally have to pick a number at random to stick a stop at, which is why I don't like taking these types of trades. I want to see some structure returned that I can use for a level which invalidates the trade idea. When you go long here, because it is an area that looks good, there will be, depending how you're drawing support resistance, some kind of block you can put a stop under, but there's no level. You could kind of pick that, I guess, but that stopped out, isn't it? So more bears. It's not stopping, is it? Long may it continue, I'm sure. Keep going. There's TP. So this is ADR. So basically that is one ADR from the open. So on the day, we're probably putting in something like 125 ADR. Something like that. I can tell. Do you know how I can tell? I've got an indicator dashboard on my website that shows me what ADR is. Loading. Still loading. Initial data load takes a while. There we go. So NASDAQ, we are at 75% of ADR at the moment. 294 of 297. So we're approaching ADR basically, 98% of ADR on the NASDAQ. Just about to trigger an alert on that. $225s. Got 3 225s today. Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, CAD Swiss. So there's your Globex high from yesterday. The Dow. Got to pick a point somewhere where you think this might bounce. I love it when it does this. I only love it when it does this when you're on the right side of it. When you're on the wrong side of it and it does this, it's annoying as hell. If you'd have got stopped out on this for any reason, I mean, there's no way, there's nobody trading ORB strategy right now that could have possibly got stopped out in this in any way, shape, or form. It hasn't pulled back enough to stop you out on anything. Even if your trading stop was 10% of ADR, you still haven't been stopped out. You have hit target and you are still in it. But it's these ones where it pulls back and then it breaks and your stop loss is there. It takes out your stop loss and then it does this. That's what drives you mental. This is what makes people overtrade and revenge trade. And I totally get it. It's all built into the strategy edge. If you'd have left that short in play on gold, you will actually be short now on gold. But this is far too volatile. Not leaving that in play. 64 locked in now. Morning, Mayor. How are we doing? Stopped out at the bottom of the zone. You watch, Brian. You know what's going to happen now, don't you? You know what's going to happen. This is going to be your first green candle of the day. Do you want me to do? I'll tell you what, I'll help you out. I won't let it. I won't let it go, don't worry. If I keep that there, it won't get out. It can't get past that. It's impossible. It's got literally like 4 ton of force. I've got 10 tons sitting on top of it. Not going to happen. And down. Oh, gone too far. If you want to get long, I can also help you with longs. Don't forget. Yeah. Okay. It's a crappy rocket, isn't it? Yeah. Right. So there's your first indecision candle gone in. We did have an inside bar there, but that's your first kind of couldn't get anywhere. So we've just retested the lows. Not stopping, is it? There's nothing here to stop it. Look, there's nothing there to stop it. No reason for it to stop till it gets down here. This is where we had our last sort of battle. Since then, it's just been bulls all the way. It's not stopping today, is it? So Dow's approaching ADR. I think we just had an ADR. Could have sworn I set up some ADR alerts yesterday. So NASDAQ ADR. There we go. So we've hit ADR on the NAS. So all indices now, S&P, NASDAQ. Where's the Dow? Am I going blind? It's down there, look. I'll put it down there. And the Dow, basically. Don't like the way that reloads. We have to change that. So Dow's ADR as well. So all indices now ADR on the day. So just be aware, obviously, this is our average daily range that we normally do. We've hit it. Possibilities of a pullback are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Just need some sign. There's nothing at the moment that's telling me go long yet. Had a very slight attempt at longs on the DAX, but again, higher high, higher low. Potentially you may have taken that, but other than that, it's not giving you any excuse. So probably going to stop out on that if you'd have taken a long on it. Lovely day. Right, I'll leave it there today. So yeah, done for the day. I'll be back on Monday. We'll have a look at obviously what's coming up news-wise. Next week, oh my God, wow. Very light news week next week. So there's no news until Wednesday next week. PPI. We got the rate announcement for the euro. No shift. Not expecting that to shift either. We've got US CPI coming out. It forecast to go up. If that comes down, buy dollar. So if you're already short the dollar, next week, potentially it's payday. So yeah, that's coming up on Thursday next week. And then we just got Michigan, really, and GDP for the pound. So really, really light news week next week. It is into September now. We're getting towards the end of summer trading. Not that you could really tell at the moment on the indices, but the FX markets have been very quiet. So nearly out. Getting back to break even on that nicely. Should be getting a reversal out of that Aussie New Zealand. But obviously a lot of these markets have been very, very sideways. Australian dollar is probably the one that hasn't been moving sideways. Everything else absolutely sideways during the summer months. Totally normal. Why am I picking all the Aussie ones? But yeah, as you can see, everything is sideways. It always is in summer. So we should hopefully start to get some activity coming in. I think probably the first sign of activity that we're going to get, like real movements and trends starting, is going to be when we get that interest rate decision. So week after next, Wednesday, FOMC, that's when we're going to change and drop those interest rates, 0.25, potentially 0.5. After today's news, but we'll wait and see what happens with the CPI. If those numbers keep coming down, if CPI next week comes out negative, if your if your PPI numbers come out as negatives, your CPI number comes out as negatives, that is probably going to be a 0.5 drop, which means if that comes out negative, sorry, not that, that comes out negative and that comes out negative, you'll probably find the market will just sell the dollar off for the entire week until we hit that interest rate decision. And then if that interest rate decision is as expected, we will probably get a continuation drop on it. So, just think twice right now about, I'm thinking of buying the dollar. Yeah. So I'm thinking of shorting this. Okay. If you're shorting this, you're buying the dollar. Yeah. That's the expected direction of the dollar for at least the next 2 weeks, if things stay as they are at the moment. Yeah. So doesn't mean it can't, do that on its way there. There's plenty of opportunities to get in and out on low time frames. But if you're thinking about shorting this long term, probably not a good thing to do. You're going to be probably back up here within the next 6 weeks. So just be aware of what's coming up. Right, I'll leave it there. Anything else you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Back on Monday. If you're looking at longs, good luck. There will be a green candle at some point. There's your signal. So yeah, have a good weekend, and I will see you Monday. Have a good one.